this inspires me to make something of my life now, today, not waiting till the next day because life is not guaranteed. So when I'm hustling, I know I'm doing this not only for me, but the ones who came before me, my mom, my dad, my sister, my brother, even though he's living, but I'm doing this for everybody. I have a point to make, so yeah, it just really makes me realize like life is short. Life is short. You gotta make something of yourself, and I want to be remembered. I want my name to be remembered that I've changed the world somehow, some way. So that's what losing her has inspired me to do even more. Now, when you choose between America and Africa, certain parts of Africa, you basically gotta pick your poison. Do you want fake foods or real foods? Do you want development or, a growing development? Do you want fresh air, more relaxing life, or do you want the rat race? It's just certain things you got to pick and choose from the positive to the negative. And for me, hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Lala. I know you guys have not heard from me in quite a while. It's been like almost a month if I'm not mistaken. But there's just been so much happening in like society, happening in my real life, and that's been like emotionally draining for me this past month. Um, so let's talk about like Congo, Sudan, Palestine, going through all of these, like this genocide. And, I've been seeing like different clips on social media, and my heart just aches because I'm like, what can I do besides a donation? Because the one thing about donations, I don't know where it's going. I don't know where the actual donation is going. So besides that, like I want to take part in, doing something to help it. And then you have like these situations going on with Didi. And in a way, like the Didi situation is kind of like distracting from what's going on, worldwide. Like we have first world issues and then we have third world issues. And, that's not to say that, focusing on any of these issues is right or wrong. It's all about how you're influenced, what pops up on your social media. So for me, I get a lot of, world crisis events that pop up on my social media because this is what I'm always like watching. But when you're in America, a lot of the first world issues pop up, like the things that are going on with Diddy here. That's not to minimize like domestic violence and the issue that we have with domestic violence. But, these are the issues we talk about that's trending in America, and we have the issues that are talked about consistently in other parts of the world. And both is draining to see, like to witness what happened with Diddy and Cassie, and to witness what is going on in worldwide genocide. Like I can't compare the two, but they're both disturbing to watch, and especially the genocide. So, also, my sister recently passed away. She passed away about 5 days ago, last week, and yeah, it's just like I've experienced so much loss. My mom passing away from cancer when I was 19. My dad passing away from cancer just a few years ago. My uncle, my first uncle on my father's side, he passed away from cancer. And now my sister at 44 years old passed away from brain and lung cancer. And it makes me wonder, why is my family in America dying so quickly from cancer specifically, and not in Jamaica. I'd only heard one person in Jamaica that passed away from cancer out of my whole family. And it makes me wonder why. Is it the food? Is it the healthcare system? What is it? Because it's very abnormal when you compare the two. And what I realize is it is America. It is the food, it's the environment, it's mostly everything. And, every place has its pros and its cons. So in America, the pros are the development, the infrastructure, things like that. But the quality of life is really bad. The environment, the culture is like damaging. But the food especially is like really, really bad. It's GMO based, chemicals and all types of food, especially if you eat fast food. There's tons of chemicals in that food. And when you go to the grocery store, there's chemicals in the food, in the meats, in the fruits, in everything. Um, and this is what's causing these sicknesses. And the thing about America is they capitalize off the weak. They capitalize off sickness. So it is basically survival of the fittest. That's what capitalism is all about. So if you are not making yourself aware to what's in the food, what are you ingesting? How harmful is it? Can it cause cancer? Can it cause these sicknesses? Like, you will fall prey to their plan, their traps, And my sister, she didn't really eat the best. She did eat healthy, but some of the things that she did eat that was unhealthy, it was a lot of like GMO based foods. And, eventually we knew like this would be damaging. Besides my sister, we all have different lifestyles, but to witness her pass away at 44 years old is really like, wow, I can't believe it, because we never lost anybody that young in my family, ever. Um, yeah, it just makes me wonder, like, did she also take the vax? And did that have some, effects on her sickness? Did it make her sicker? Because we've heard rumors about that making pre-existing conditions worse. So that's another thing that's going through my mind. But overall, what it does make me realize is I made the right decision bringing myself and my family to Africa, because the pros and the cons here are a little bit different. And when you choose between America and Africa, certain parts of Africa, you basically got to pick your poison. Do you want fake foods or real foods? Do you want a development or, a growing development? Do you want fresh air, more relaxing life, or do you want the rat race? It's just certain things you got to pick and choose from the positive to the negative. And for me, I want a long life. I don't care if I'm, like, I want to make money. Yeah, we all want to make money. We all want to be, wealthy. But that's not like at the top of my priority list, because if it was, I would stay in America because I can make tons of money there because I know the environment. I lived there for over 25 years. But in Africa, it'll be a little more difficult. And I'm not even going to speak that into existence. Once you figure out any environment, if you're an adaptable person like myself, you will become successful if you've done it before. But I know like it's going to take me a little while to get there, and I had to sacrifice whatever richness that I had financially in America to come here. So those are the sacrifices that I made, but I know I'm doing it for a reason, because I'm healthy. I'm eating fresh foods. I'm eating fresh fruits. Nothing injected in my fruit. Nothing injected in my meat. and I know more than likely, I'm setting myself up for a longer life. Nothing is guaranteed. Anybody could die from an accident at any time, but my chances of living longer is here. I want to be here for my child. I don't want us to die from sickness. I want us to pass away from old age moving forward. So me coming here to Ghana, I know I made the right decision, just moving to Africa overall and, trying to find a place that's best for me. So yeah, uh, when people ask me like, well, what are you doing there? What do you mean, what am I doing there? Look, where's my family? My mom is gone. My dad is gone. My uncle, my sister. It's just me and my brother. Like, what do you mean? What am I doing there? I'm here to save my bloodline. That's what I'm here to do. And people might think, oh, it's dramatic. But nothing about cancer and watching people die is easy. And I don't want to keep going through that. I don't see as many people dying from cancer here in Ghana or any other place in Africa that I visited. That is an American problem. And the problem exists because they don't want the problem to diminish. They don't want it to go anywhere. They want to keep people sick, and I'm not going to be caught in a trap, just to try to achieve richness, riches, money. Like that's not, no. So I know I'm setting myself up for a better life here. And, me losing my sister, I realized like life is short. Life is short. Life is short. Like she has accomplished so much. Like she's bought a house. She bought a house before she was 30 years old. She, accomplished a college degree. She was living the American dream. She bought a 3-bedroom house in a nice, neighborhood. She, had a lot of success, but she just died at 44 years old. This inspires me to make something of my life now, today, not waiting till the next day because life is not guaranteed. So when I'm hustling, I know I'm doing this not only for me, but the ones who came before me, my mom, my dad, my sister, my brother, even though he's living, but I'm doing this for everybody. I have a point to make, so yeah, it just really makes me realize like life is short. Life is short. You gotta make something of yourself, and I want to be remembered. I want my name to be remembered that I've changed the world somehow, some way. So that's what losing her has inspired me to do even more now. So overall, like I'm learning to transmute the pain. Transmute the pain. If you ever been through any type of loss, don't dwell in that pain. In Jamaica, in our culture, when we lose somebody, we believe in letting the spirit go in peace by celebrating their lives and not dwelling in the sadness. Because when you do that, it doesn't allow the spirit to leave in peace. Any resentment you may have towards that person, let it go so they can leave in peace, So I truly believe in that. And so after when I lost my mother, that was the first big loss. And I took it hard. Like, I took it hard. Like, my whole life changed negatively, I think, in certain ways. But my father, took that hard as well. But what I'm realizing, and I still take my sister's death it's very hard for me. Any type of death is hard, but I'm learning to transmute the pain into productivity, into purpose, into, my daughter, like putting that love into her and just appreciating who I have here right now. And, yeah, my sister and I, we were estranged for a little while. So her and I hadn't talked for a while. But the biggest lesson I've learned from losing her is forgiveness, you know. When you have like, you know, not even anger, but just like resentment towards someone because they've done so many things to you and they haven't apologized, you haven't received an apology. It's just something. Now I see why God preaches forgiveness, forgiveness, forgiveness. Forgiveness doesn't mean reconciliation. Because even in her dying days, there were the things that bothered me about her still existed. But I realized like she needed me. You know, we came from the same womb. You know, death is scary. And she was just so vulnerable that it didn't make any, it didn't, it wasn't worth it holding on to resentment because she's about to meet the final judge, God, you know, and God is bigger than me. I'm not bigger than God. So what is it worth me holding on to, you know, past hurts and things like that when she can't answer to it no more? She literally cannot apologize if she doesn't want to. So yeah, I forgave her in her last days because I wanted her to go in peace. We all deserve peace. And as God has forgiven me, Jesus has forgiven me, Yahshua has forgiven me, I want to forgive her. You know, give her that same grace. So we talked a little bit in her last days and we had a few phone conversations after years of not talking. Because, you know, in my mind, she had did unforgivable things to me, but I am not the final judge. I am not the one that is responsible for what happens to your spirit and what happens to your soul. So I put it in God's hand and I just forgiven her. And I think that allowed her to go in peace. And, yeah, that's like the biggest lesson I learned because when people are vulnerable, we all human beings. So if you could forgive, it's like you could see that you don't have flaws. You have flaws too. You're not flawless. You have flaws. So if I could forgive her, God will forgive me when I'm wrong. Because there's times that I'm dead wrong, and I need His forgiveness and His grace. So you can't put out in the world what you don't want from God. Like if you want forgiveness from God, forgive people. You know, if you want people to forgive you, forgive people because whatever energy you put out there in the world, it comes back. What you reap is what you sow. So I knew that if I held on to any resentment, somebody could do the same for me later on when I really need their forgiveness. And you know, yeah. So that's what my sister's loss has taught me. I've been through a lot this past month. I will be giving you guys some more videos soon, but I just wanted to vent about everything that is going on in my life. But things are looking up from here.